year at the Eurovision Song Contest, there was a big innovation. It wasn't just about the televote in Europe or the jury vote. We also had what?
Rest of the world!
Yes, people who were not in the countries participating in the Eurovision Song Contest, they could vote. So United States, Canada, Mexico.
Venezuela, Colombia.
El Salvador, Honduras. But what were they? Rest
of the world.
Central African Republic, Burundi, Seychelles.
South Africa. Huge Eurovision following in South Africa.
Rest of the world.
Rest of the world, Hong Kong. I attended the Chicken Feet Disco, which is all about Eurovision in Hong Kong.
Absolutely.
Again, rest of the world.
Do they have a fried chicken disco?
Girl!
I'd be there. In any case, I think we should go back and forth and discuss the results, including Noa Kirel winning the Rest of the World vote. Shall we talk about it?
Let's do this! Shout out to Wiwi Blogs on this one. And I tell you why. Because actually, we have been very much Rest of the World from inception.
Oh, absolutely. Our bloggers come from all over the place.
United
States, Nigeria, we had some Armenians, we had Australia before they were in Eurovision.
Absolutely,
Venezuela, Colombia, Hong Kong, Australia, yes.
Venezuela.
Yes.
And some of my favorite videos on Wiwi Blogs are actually videos devoted to Rest of the World fans. OGAE Venezuela, the one you did. OGAE Colombia, the one you did.
Absolutely.
I love, love, love. Please go check out those videos. They're some of my favorite.
All right, Devin, let's take a look at the Rest of the World vote in the grand final. Now, we don't have a country breakdown that says, Venezuela voted for this country or Brazil voted for this country, but we have the aggregated Rest of the World vote. Israel won with 12 points, followed by Finland and Armenia, and then we had 7 points to Sweden, 6 to Albania, 5 to Ukraine, 4 to Norway, 3 to Croatia, 2 to Spain, and 1 to France. Let's kick it off by discussing Israel. What do you make of the Rest of the World choosing Noa Kirel?
I think a lot of people will argue and say that, Jews are kind of like a big diaspora, but I think they're not monolithic. I think we need to kind of separate this idea that every Jewish person doesn't have, preferences and they're just going to vote for Israel just because Israel is performing at Eurovision. I actually disagree with that.
Well, actually, let me quote Lauren. Lauren is an Israeli Wiwi blogger. Lauren wrote in our private discussion group, Israel winning the whole thing with Armenia and Albania very high up shows diaspora voting extends to the Rest of the World vote. Jewish people and Armenians being spread around the globe. Now, so I think there are a few things here. One, not all Jewish people around the world were watching Eurovision. You know what I mean?
True.
People are doing other stuff. So we can't assume. I do think there may have been a slight, push for Israel.
I completely disagree.
Aren't there 7 million, I think Lauren says 7 million Jewish people living in the United States?
And of those, how many are Eurovision fans?
No, I agree with you.
Can I also just point out that Noa Kirel's performance stands out on so many levels.
Yes.
Right? So, whilst her song is neither here nor there, the staging of it is just completely mind-blowing. And particularly, do you want to dance? And then a dance break actually ending the song.
Excuse me. Do you want to see me dance?
Watch me. Do you want to see me dance? Do you want to see me dance? I mean, and lots of really young people, particularly, if you think about people who like reggaeton and things like that, they're very, a lot of youth music now is very dance heavy.
Absolutely.
So I think people are going to gravitate towards that for being just modern, not just because it's a Jewish product.
I think the reason this did well in the Rest of the World is it felt the most like an MTV Music Video Awards performance.
Absolutely.
It felt like a concert, like a real concert choreography. It was frenetic, it changed constantly, you could latch on. The term unicorn is very trendy of the moment, right? Girl, you such a unicorn. Like, all of that is playing in the favor. Duran Madali, the composer, knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the game, and so sure, maybe
he is shape-shifting like there's no tomorrow. I nearly didn't recognize him. I'm like, man!
He looked like a spiritual leader.
I was ready to follow.
Yes, girl, join that cult.
Follow him wherever he may go.
I cannot reach the highs of Whoopi Goldberg, She Slayed, and Sister Act, one of my favorite movies of all time. In any case.
Ditto.
In any case, I want to read you what Lucy, a wee blogger, said.
Oh, there's no point airing this debate.
No, it's not a debate. She basically says she doesn't think it was just diaspora vote. She says there's no doubt that it helped that there's a Jewish diaspora, but it isn't the reason she got 12 points. She was top 3 at Eurovision end of day with televoters in Europe and with jurors in Europe. So the rest of the world was reflecting, hype that was already there.
And actually, another good thing about Noa Kirel is that she...
Is feminine.
Well, not just that, but I feel like Israel has adapted best to the new result, to the new judging criteria, right? Because a lot of pre-recorded backing vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what they've now done is they haven't done it from a scaling back point of view for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
They've just done it in terms of being more expansive. So they've now looked at dance as a discipline in itself. And it's just very, very clever. So whilst the others are still doing their, case in point, Albania, still kind of being so traditional and pure and vocal heaven, they've kind of moved away from all that. Ultimately, you just want to shoot to the top of the scoreboard. It doesn't matter how you get there.
Yeah.
It does not matter how you get there.
I'm not looking at your unfiltered CV.
Girl, all roads lead to Israel at this point.
Well, listen, Finland came second in the rest of the world vote, and copy and paste why they did well at Eurovision in Europe, because it's really eye-catching, completely different, stood out.
It looked better in Liverpool, actually.
Oh, it looked amazing. All the reasons you love Finland, copy and paste to the rest of the world vote. Now, Armenia, this is interesting.
This is one of my favorites leading up to Eurovision. I didn't particularly love the staging of it, but the song, Do Good, Feel Good, Be Good.
She was all of those things.
Oh, girl.
She finished 14th overall, but 3rd with the rest of the world vote. Now, we have to face the facts that the Armenian diaspora is strong.
Oh, give me a break.
Glendale, California, girl.
I would have put this high. I'm sorry, I would have put it high. I don't think, and I'm not Armenian.
I'm not saying it's solely based on that, but I'm saying there's a big difference between coming 3rd in a public vote and coming 14th in a public vote. What could that difference be down to? I do think diaspora plays a part.
There've always been wild discrepancies in votes at Eurovision.
Girl, so you don't think diaspora played any role?
Sometimes I think they disconnect the lines of some of the other countries calling and just allow the other ones to come through. Sometimes I can't explain these results. And that's why they're very interesting to build discussions around. Because they don't make sense some of the time. Can somebody tell me why Latvia didn't qualify? Or why Malta didn't qualify?
Well, interesting you bring up Latvia. Let's actually look. In semi-final 1, Latvia came 3rd in the rest of the world vote, behind Israel and Finland. And interestingly, they finished, 11th in the semi-final, which was televote only?
Almost doesn't count. They didn't qualify.
They finished 11th in the European televote. And
they didn't qualify.
3rd in the rest of the world vote.
They didn't qualify.
Can I finish? That is really stark to me. Like, why do you think the rest of the world got Latvia in a way that the European televote didn't?
Which goes to show the rest of the world actually does have a really high marker of taste. Southern Lights were amazing. How could that just go unnoticed?
If there had been a jury, they would have gone through.
Which...
They would have.
In some ways, we argue that they should just disband a jury, but then a part of me just feels like, bring them back in. Yeah. They have a purpose.
Latvia, to me, is the greatest casualty of this televote-only semifinal system. And also, of all the non-qualifiers in recent years, this is the one I would probably put through. In the battle of non-qualifiers...
I would have put Malta through, too.
I put this ahead of Koitum, Laura, Estonia, Verona.
Okay, well, that's another video.
I would put Latvia 2023 through over Estonia 2017 on tape. Handle that. And I love
We are building and burning down love. You don't want no shade coming your way. I'm just going to put it out there.
Well, listen, I want to read a comment from Robin. This is Robin, a wee blogger down in New Zealand. She said in our internal chat,
Deputy Editor Extraordinaire Hunty.
She said, I feel like the purpose of the vote is to include viewers who watch but can't otherwise vote, but I also think the intended audience of that might be the United States. If this year was anything to go by, it has a strong diaspora bias, and Eurovision has always been about trying to remove biases like that from the voting. So this is a controversial opinion. She says this is counter to what Eurovision voting rules have been about in the past.
But I think Eurovision is also about finding audiences beyond Saturday night. And I think it's good to engage fans outside because, ultimately, the artists who perform at Eurovision want to kind of, they want longevity. And, Eurovision broadening outside the borders of Europe is a very clever way to do it. So if you score 12 points, let's say, in China, well, you know what? Hit that club in Shanghai!
Yes, honey, Guangzhou! Okay, let's go! Ooh, my DNA test traced my family back to Chongqing. Yeah.
Every day there's a new story with your DNA. I'm over it.
Listen, girl, you'll like this result. Semi-final one, rest of the world vote. Malta got in the top 10.
Again, well deserved. Actually, the rest of the world is a real marker. I mean,
This is taste.
Yeah, this is good. Maybe with Croatia as the outlier.
So just so you can see, in semi-final one, 12 Israel, 10 Finland, 8 Latvia, 7 Sweden, 6 points to Portugal, 5 to Czechia, 4 to Moldova, 3 to Croatia, hunty! 2 to Serbia, and 1 to Malta. And look, let's move on to semi-final 2 then. Albania won semi-final 2 in the rest of the world vote. Now tell me, you don't think diaspora played a part? You think that was just straight up musical quality?
It's got a very strong melody, and you know what? It's not.
Booyah.
Do you remember at Festival of Congress we went completely crazy for this song, and they hadn't even selected it as the winner or anything. It just moved us so much.
I preferred Elsa Lila. I still prefer Elsa Lila. But Elsa Lila was actually a greater risk because I don't know if that would have made it through the semifinals, but I think it would have killed with the jury in the final.
I liked it.
It was, well, in any case, semifinal 2, 12 Albania, 10 Armenia, 8 to Austria, 7 to Australia, 6 Slovenia, 5 Belgium, 4 Lithuania, 3 Iceland, 2 Estonia, and 1 to our girl Katie Wilson. Eru,
Georgia. So Poland did not even make it. That's interesting.
Take 2. Blanca Solo. This video is brought to you by Blanca. Solo. Da-da-da-da-dum, baby, da-da-da-da. I'm gonna show ya.
She is so telegenic. She looks so
gorgeous.
Camera ready.
Gorgeous.
She is so beautiful.
She gave one of my favorite interviews in Liverpool.
Oh, really?
She's good. Yeah. All right, we move on. I want to read.
You know who my favorite interview in Liverpool was?
Tell me, honey. Tell me.
Where is that book?
Oh, I gotta be proud.
Where is that book? Where is that book?
Just so you know, the audiobook of Wild Dances, My Queer and Curious Journey to Eurovision is out September 26th.
Mark the date, honey!
So if you don't want to read, let me read to you! I spent 21 hours in that studio.
Americans are always selling. Are you going to do it in another language? Or should we save that for another video?
We're gonna save that. We're gonna have content on the road to Malma. But listen, ESC fan writes, honestly, just going off of this vote, I am impressed with the rest of the world vote.
I'm impressed too.
They appreciated a mixture of traditional, current, and party songs.
Absolutely.
Which is nice to see. Also love the 8 points for Latvia in the semi.
Love you, girl!
Yes! Anna writes, guys, the British diaspora in Canada alone is bigger than the whole Jewish diaspora altogether.
Controversial!
So give this silly theory a rest. The actual numbers won't support it.
This Anna does not play.
And J writes, also in comparison to many other countries, Israel has 0 regional ethnic allies that traditionally spoil it with points regardless of the song they are sending. So getting mad over a one-time thing, unbased theory, is in this context kind of hypocritical. Basically saying Israel doesn't benefit from neighborly voting like other countries do, so why get mad if some people voted for Israel abroad?
But then if Europe is isolated, it doesn't really matter whether Israel doesn't have friendly neighbors because they're pitching in other continents.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? So yeah, Israel may not get from the Middle East, but who's voting from the Middle East anyway?
So this is interesting.
I mean, this thing you could write You could do a dissertation on this.
You absolutely could, and I want to talk about Spain quickly, because some people were thinking, let's see, Spain got 2 points from the rest of the world in the televote. So Spain, rest of the world vote got 2
if it had
points.
8 points, they would say Moroccans were voting.
But listen, I want to read this comment from ESC_FL. At least my 20 euros worth of votes for Spain paid off somewhat. Without the rest of the world vote, Blanca Paloma would have had just 3 points. I thought Spain would be getting more points from the rest of the world because of Latin America, but maybe the contest hasn't had much influence in the region yet. If that spin-off is still happening, I think if it had been,
that is true.
But this is the thing: she did Spanish flamenco music, right? That may not translate as well as, say,
reggaeton
from Chanel. Exactly. I think if Chanel had competed with the rest of the world vote,
we could be looking at a new winner.
Another choice, yeah.
Well, actually, no, because Kalush Orchestra had such a wide
a different host.
But a different
They would have
host,
passed the UK.
They would have passed the
even
UK.
further. Because like she already beat Sam Ryder in the televote. And I don't need all these comments. Whenever I say that Chanel performed better than Sam Ryder in the televote, you should read the comments. It's a statement of fact. It is not shade against the UK. Anyways, we move on, hunty.
Chanel has had quite a journey. Even her people did not even like her at Benidorm Fest. And then she...
I said...
Boom, 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 let's go!
I put her in my...
Oh my God!
I put her in my top 3 in our initial Benidorm Fest reaction, and people were like, no taste, trash. And I'm like, what the actual F?
You mean she didn't win it?
No, in my
Who did you put as your winner?
On the studio cuts, I had Ryden,
okay.
and then I had her second, and then I had...
you had her second.
Yeah,
okay,
but it was...
okay. It's okay.
The thing is,
it's okay.
judging a studio cut...
I forgive you, because generally your taste is so appalling.
Oh, Dabin Adarimi,
your taste is so appalling.
Dabin Adarimi, weeblogs.com. Do I need to do... Can I get the accounting firm to review his results? Because let me tell you, you've got some questionable...
Who are we now with? Ernst & Young.
Taste.
Ernst & Young.
Yes. Or is it PwC?
No, I think it's Ernst & Young.
Which one's cheaper? Who didn't do Steve Harvey at Miss Universe? Steve Harvey.
Do you know what? People ask me at Eurovision, like, oh, why do you guys get... I'm like, do you know the fight that goes on this jury fight?
Oh my God.
No, you need an independent body to verify the results, otherwise...
It's too much drama. We didn't do a Wee Jury last year video. We did...
For that reason.
Yes, for that reason.
For that reason.
But look, is there anything else to say about the rest of the world vote?
I think the rest of the world should continue. I think, Eurovision we need to spread the love. And that love needs to reach all corners and stuff. Why didn't you do an OGAE? Why didn't you adopt an OGAE fan club outside? You didn't do it this year? Let's
see. This May in Liverpool, we had the Wee Wee Jam, we had the Lush
We've
Lounge,
always had Wee Wee Jam.
We had a book coming out. There was a lot going on. We had the blog. It was a lot.
You see, if I was media critic, I would have done it, but I couldn't get inside.
Let's not even
I couldn't get inside the underbelly of the EV.
Let's not even discuss the person. We'll save that for another video, another soap opera. I'm powder dry.
Oh my God.
Girl. But look, that's what we think. What do you think? Do you think... actually...
Do not wait.
Wait. I think the rest of the world vote, they should reveal which countries voted, how many votes were cast in those countries, and where those votes went. Because I would love to know, for instance, did Brazil vote for Portugal? How many people in Latin America voted for Spain? Did the United States give all of its love to Israel?
Not enough.
Yeah, I'm curious.
The whole continent, my girl gets 3 points. Not enough.
But
Not enough.
We think. What do you think? Are you a fan of the rest of the world vote? Do you hope it stays in place? What changes would you like to see? Let us know here on Wee Wee Blogs.
I think it should be plugged harder. I think a lot of the rest of the world didn't actually know the power they had until the night, right?
Yes.
So I think, this is a really good excuse to push Eurovision even harder in territories where they can, and perhaps even expand it. Because if Australia can be part of Eurovision, which, by the way, I'm fully...
Oh, I love that. I love Australia.
And, they wake up at like some stupid hour to kind of, and still get into the whole spirit of it. I see no reason why South Africa can't join the party. Or Nigeria.
Vietnam.
Or Cambodia. Or Vietnam.
Well, they are doing a Southeast Asian version, actually.
And
India
they're doing a Latin American version.
Yeah, and Canada they want to do as well.
Wow.
Well, let's go Manitoba. Let's get lit, Saskatchewan. We'll see you later. Bye. ain't on Pinterest. We ain't on Pinterest.